we doing? Is the angling a little bit better? Oh my goodness, this camera is... Got every single strand, count every single pore. Let's get into it. We're in February. Okay, there's like a month, 2-ish months of winter left. And I have survived and I think reframed my relationship with winter so that I have no seasonal mood disorder. AKA, I don't want to die when it's winter. Winter kind of starts in Minnesota and the Midwest. I've only ever lived in the Midwest. It kind of starts like October, November. So if you think November, December, January, February, March, almost if you kind of count October, like it used to snow during Halloween, but now it snowed during Thanksgiving. Hello, global warming. That's half the year is winter. That means half the year I would be depressy. But this year I didn't. So I wrote a list of all the things that I hacked my way out of seasonal depression, aka trying to reset and regulate my circadian rhythm, expand my nervous system capacity. But these are 6 tangible tips that I employed this year to not have seasonal depression. Again, we still have 2 months left, but I feel like I'm in the clear. If not, I'll let you know because I got videos out every Tuesday and Thursday, so you get to see me twice. I love to see you too. Let's just get into it. These are the 6 tips I implemented this year to hack my way out of seasonal depression. If you got a seasonal mood disorder, if you live in the Midwest, if your daddy was born in the south of Iran in the desert, but then immigrated to Minnesota and now your DNA, your Persian SEZ Junam DNA is like, what the hell am I doing when it is snowing for 6 months out of the year? These are ways to help you not feel like you want to delete yourself. Well, they worked for me. You give them a try, you see if they work for you, but this is what worked for me, and I am very inclined and happy to share. Let's get into it. Okay, this one, the first one, I say my morning and sunset walks. These are all tips and tricks that I learned in the nervous system regulation program that I'm in. So these morning walks and sunset walks, basically, first thing when I get up in the morning, I started doing this in summer though. At like the end of August, I started getting up and the first thing I would do is go outside and go on a walk. Now, if you're already a little bit depressy, it can be hard to get out there and go on a walk. So when I first started this, I would just go out there and I would put a chair in my garage. I wouldn't even step foot out into the driveway. And I would just sit in the garage with the garage open for 5 minutes. And then I would build my way up once I felt comfortable sitting there, pull the chair out on the driveway, and then it started going into morning walks. Basically, get up, brush my teeth, make my bed, put on clothes, go outside at the end of August, start doing these like neighborhood walks anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes. Even if it was raining, I would bring an umbrella, and then same thing at nighttime when the sun was setting. I would go out there and do a long walk. And so I just continue doing this throughout the fall, at the end of summer, throughout fall. And then when winter came, hello, I live somewhere where it gets to like -20, -30, throw in a little windshield, and -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, I think that is like -60 degrees Celsius or something like that. It gets super cold, layer up. I don't care. I go out there and I do my morning walks. If you follow my TikToks or you want to see me get ready for my morning walks, I sometimes share about that. Maybe I'll start getting into the YouTube shorts territory. I feel like I'm new in YouTube land. No, I feel like I'm like returning to YouTube land. The YouTube, but shorts is new. Shorts and live, they didn't have that 10 years ago when I was on YouTube. So now that I'm back, I'm like, I need to explore the territory. So maybe I'll start putting my like get ready with me as the little shorts to go on my morning walks on the YouTube, but it's on my TikTok right now. Anyways, my morning walks and my sunset walks. This is a key thing that helped me set my circadian rhythm, and what it's supposed to emulate is, think about like 100, 200 years ago, they didn't have alarm clocks. They didn't have a, hey Siri, set an alarm for 7 a.m. No, people were waking up when the sun was coming up. So you're kind of like DNA biologically wired to be awake when the sun comes up, and then when the sun goes down, get sleepy. And getting the UV of the sun when you first get up, ideally you do this is what I was taught, is ideally you do it when the sun actually rises, and when the sun actually sets, girl, bye, I'm not waking up at like 6, 7 a.m. to go out there. I just changed it to be, okay, first thing I do when I get up is get out there. And trying to go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time has been really helpful too. Sleeping before 11 p.m. So I start getting ready for bed around like 8:39. I know it's toddler vibes, but it helps my circadian rhythm so much. I lost my sleep, hunger, and poop cues for a little bit. You know, when your body at nighttime goes, I'm tired, it's time to brush my teeth and go to sleep. Or I'm hungry, it's time to eat food. Yeah, I didn't have that for 2 years because the grief and betrayal and disappointment of my life was overwhelming. Do you ever get betrayed so hard, so bad, so many times in a row that you like lose yourself in the betrayal? Been there, done that. So morning walks, sunset walks, that's my first thing. The next thing, sleeping and eating as consistently as I possibly could. Having my meals at the same time every day. I kind of alluded to having the same sleep schedule. Sleeping before 11 p.m. really helps me. So I get ready to bed at 8:39. I try to get in bed at like 9:30, 10. If I'm going to do like a little scroll, if I'm going to watch TV, if I'm going to journal with my like legs up my headboard, if I'm going to read my book, whatever it is, so that I have like an hour in bed to like adjust to the situation. And then cut the lights at 10:30 and try to sleep before 11, and then waking up around 8 a.m. has been gorgeous. And same thing with eating. Having a consistent eating schedule shows my body a reliable, stable schedule that it can rely on, and it can plan, and it can go, oh, okay, so she's gonna sleep by 11, she's gonna wake up at 8, she's gonna catch these morning UVs, she's gonna have breakfast or whatever at 10, 11. Some people say that you should eat like an hour to 90 minutes right after you wake up. I'm too slow in the morning for that. If I eat right away in the morning, I feel nauseous. Again, we're still learning hunger cues. Sometimes I do wake up and I'm like, yes, I'm so hungry, I could eat right away. But I didn't lose the cues overnight. It took about 2 years to lose all my cues. So it's going to take time to build it back. But having that consistent schedule so my body can start to be like, okay, we're digesting at this time. We're waking up at this time. We're digesting again here, and we're digesting again here. And then boom, at 9, 10 p.m., we're naturally getting sleepy. Delicious. So having a consistent schedule with eating and sleeping. Again, I tried to start doing this at the end of summer so that the fall period was kind of like my what's working, what's not working for me situation. And then when winter hit, it was like, okay, we're locking in what really works for me. And then the next one I have on my list is reframing my relationship with the winter months to be more enjoyable. There's kind of like this like tizzy where I had it with myself too. It's like when the winter comes and you're like, gruel and gloom and doom is upon us. I have to be miserable for the next 4 or 5 months. And I started watching this TikTok video of this girl who lives in like the North Pole. She lives with Santa and his elves. Just kidding. But she lives somewhere where it is pitch black for like months. I'm talking, she wakes up at 9 a.m. and it looks the same as it does 9 p.m. And she, in her video, talks about how she loves this time. She loves when it's so dark because it gives her an opportunity for her dog, and her husband to slow down, to try new recipes, baking, to just really slow down. And she said it in a way, she was like, it is never like this any other time of the year except for now. So if I only have it now and I don't get it for the rest of the year, how can I make this the most enjoyable experience for myself? And something about her saying that just like reframed the molecules in my brain, because I was like, wait, I can make choices. I do make choices to be empowered. That is like my number one thing after feeling powerless and helpless for years is I get to make choices. We always have choices. And I want to make choices where I feel more empowered in my life. There was this great TikTok too that was like, bad things don't happen to good people. Bad things happen to everyone. What makes a person good is that when the bad shit happens, they still choose to be a good person. And I was like, yes, I am choosing to be the most empowered and best version of myself. And that carried into reframing my relationship with winter. So seriously, this winter was the first winter. Maybe it was because I just turned 25. Well, and then I just turned 26 at the end of winter because I'm a winter baby. If you live in the States, isn't it kind of funny how like in Australia and New Zealand, it's the complete opposite? When it's our winter, it's their summer. Anyways, my winter, this is universal, I think. If you ever, anybody going through winter that gets a little bit of a mood disorder, maybe it doesn't even have to be winter. Maybe if you just get like a seasonal mood disorder, maybe some of these tips can help you. But reframing my relationship with winter and it not being some doom and gloom, dread thing, because you can't do the things that you would normally do outside when it's winter. And so you have some external factor that feels out of control, right? Like, I can't control the weather, you can't control the weather, let's call up Cloudy with the chance of meatballs and ring him in on the conversation. But we can't control the weather. So if I can't control the weather, I can control myself and I can control my mindset. I can control the approach that I want to have with my relationship to the seasons changing, because what a gift is it to have the seasons change. So I just started looking at this winter of like, okay, this is my time to slow down. I don't get to be slow, or, well, I can really be slow whenever though if I want, but I don't get to be as slow like societally, culturally, when it's summer and the sun is setting at like 9 p.m. versus when it's winter and the sun sets and it's dark at 5 p.m. So just reframing it and being like, this is my time that I get to slow down and that I get to pick up new hobbies and I get to do arts and crafts and I get to like nurture my inner artist. That really helped me too. So then leading into, okay, if I'm slowing down and I'm going to be more positive and choose a more empowering mindset with the winter months. I got a little hair here that is just, this camera is not lying. No lies captured here. But planning out a dopamine menu. Like if I'm going to enjoy my winter months and it's going to be a time to nurture my inner artist and a time to slow down and figure out like what hobbies I'm into, planning a dopamine menu helped me so much, so that in those moments when it's dark at 4:37 p.m. and I live alone and I haven't talked to anybody all day and I start to get the blues about like, why am I here? What's my purpose in life? I can look back at this menu and be like, okay, I can pick any one of these activities and I know that it's going to shoot up some chemicals in my brain. So some things on my dopamine menu are scrolling. Hello, that's an easy one. But also being very conscious of scrolling. Recently, I'll start scrolling and then after like 5 scrolls, I'll pause and ask myself, how do I feel about the content that I'm seeing? How do I feel in general? And then after 5 scrolls, I'm like, oh, if I'm liking it, I'll keep scrolling more. And then I'll start to like look into the time. You can also set time limits on different apps so that it can remind you like, hey, you've been on this app for 5 minutes. How are you feeling? Do you want to snooze for another minute, or are you looking like you're trying to get off the app? But anyways, my dopamine menu, scrolling, watching movies. I was watching hella Christmas movies. Hello, get into the season. Get Hallmark their coin. Just kidding. Hallmark movies, I'm kind of not the greatest fan of them. They're just like really, really cheesy. But there are some great holiday movies on Netflix that I watched that I really enjoyed. Watching movies, listening to Christmas music, listening to holiday music, trying new recipes, coloring, reading. I recently got into playing Legos. You can buy like a Lego set. And for painting, sometimes it's a lot to just look at a blank canvas and be like, produce, Picasso this. So I did a color by number set. So each of the paint colors are related to a corresponding number, and then you just fill in the little numbers. Maybe I'll put a little screenshot of the company that I bought from, and I bought hella so that I had different options to choose from. And then I'm reading the Throne of Glass series, and before that I was reading the Ekotar, A Court of Thorn and Roses series. So a little fantasy, little get lost into someone else, the universe of Sarah Moss, if I will. So planning out this dopamine menu so that I am not just always scrolling, I'm not always watching a movie, I'm not, not that I'm one to always color or play with Legos, but to do something more with my hands and be more creative and know that I have more options. It's so important, especially if you've been traumatized, especially if you had a moment in your life where you felt like you had to suppress your power or you didn't really get to make choices for a certain period of time. I think it's very, very empowering and very healthy to be able to have a list of choices so that you are in control and you can choose. It makes me feel very empowered. So planning out a dopamine menu, taking a bath, getting into an Epsom salt bath, a little essential oil. I just picked up some CBD salt baths last night and took a bath last night. Again, delish. So planning out your own dopamine menu so that you have a nice evening activity that you can wind down and slow and ease your way into, something that maybe you otherwise wouldn't ever do or pick up. And into the next one, when the sun sets. So this one kind of goes into like the whole circadian rhythm thing. I got into red light glasses this year. Did it help? Did it not? I don't know. I did all of this stuff all together, so I don't know if I can pick and choose and be like, this one helped or this one didn't, but I like these red light glasses. I got them from the company RA Optics. Can you see on the bottom here? Yeah. RA Optics. These were like 100, 130, maybe 150. I don't remember them being more than $200. But basically when the sun sets and after I go on my outdoor sunset evening walk and I come back in and all the sun is set, if I want to watch screens or the lights in my houses are not adjusted to negate the blue lights. Basically, blue light comes from your screen. So if you don't have glasses on right now, you're watching me. Blue light is coming through the screen if you watch TV, if you watch your phone, even just the lights in your house, unless you go and you like change your light bulbs, which I have yet to do, but I've thought about doing that. It emits this blue light, and the blue light basically tells your brain, awake, it's like daytime. No sleep. And so if you want to block out the blue lights, you wear these red light glasses. And for me, it just kind of makes it feel like I literally feel like when I have, even right now, like when I put these on and it takes out all the blue light of the day, it does have like a little bit of an orangey tint, but it's not that bad at nighttime when it's already dark. I feel like relaxed when I have blue light cut out of my vision. And you can do these with these glasses. They have all different types of like styles and whatever, and I just picked these ones because I thought they were cute and chic. Wow, that was so relaxing. I want to put these on, but girl, it's the middle of the day. Stick to my circadian rhythms schedule and not get too sleepy right now because that's not the vibe. So when the sun sets, after I do my sunset walk, I would come inside and I'd wear these red light glasses all the way up until I go to sleep. Next one, last one. I put connecting with family once a week. I live alone. I don't necessarily have a career that has a social circle in it, like at least some people go to work and they can talk to people. Yeah, so I don't really have any of that. So going out to see my family or going out to see my friend like once a week. Right now I'm more in like a family phase because my friend and I aren't exactly in the same season of life right now, and I got another friend, but like she's still kind of a new friend. It's the somatic practitioner that I've been working with, and we still have a contract in standing right now, so it's like we are kind of friends. Maybe we'll be more friends after. We talked about being friends after, but right now there's still this like professional rapport to adhere to. So anyways, going out and just connecting with your loved ones once a week I think is very, very helpful. Sometimes I would just go over to like my aunts or uncle's house, and aunts or uncles, they live together, hello, and I wouldn't even say anything. I just go there just to be in company of other people and like bring my book, sit in the corner, or like sit by the fireplace and just scroll on my phone. But I think just being around other people, if you don't have other people around you, maybe you live somewhere without friends or family right now, going to a cafe, I feel like really helped me too. And just being able to sit and be around people, you know, listen to other people's conversation. Like, yes, Mary, why is your son not able to keep a girlfriend? And every time he gets a partner, he up and moves to a different country. Might be gay, who knows? Hi, gay. But yeah, just going out and being around other humans. I think at one point in time when I couldn't sit around other human beings, I would just go to like my local CVS. Yes, just go to the local drugstore, go to a grocery store, and just like walk around just to be with people and interact with people, like check out and just have that moment of connection. Because I think connection, I know connection is what helps kind of not heal grief, but in a way help you build more life on top of the grief. I feel like grief is such a disconnecting thing, and with the sun setting a lot earlier than it normally would, and you know, almost that grief of daylight because you don't have as much daylight, I think there is a sense of grief in winter. And so being able to connect to support the season of slowing down and grief. Yes, those are the 6 tips that I wrote down that helped me hack my way out of seasonal depression. Again, we still have 2 months more to go, but after, what was it, January 22nd, like our days are substantially getting longer. I think by the end of February, we're supposed to get like an hour or 2 back of daylight. The sun is already setting at 5:35. Oh, I also got put on this app called My Circadian, and it will sync to your location, and it'll tell you like when the sunset, what the UV is like, and when like nightfall is, when sunrise is, and then it even tells you what solar noon is, so like when you could go outside and get like the most amount of sun. I just mostly track it for the sunset. The sunset is already setting at 5:23, so I feel like we've already gained an hour-ish, 50 minutes, and by the end of this month, by the end of February, we should get another hour or 2 back. So we're chugging along, we're making our way. This is my first winter season without a drastic mood disorder. Maybe the last 2 years in a dissociative dark hole made up for it. No, I'm just kidding. I actively made choices to make me feel empowered, to support my biology, my DNA, all of this thanks to the somatic program that I'm in, Dane Wellness. Check it out. It's the new. If you have been doing therapy and journaling and taking meds and you're like, why is none of this working, and I'm doing everything I can, maybe it's not for you. Because remember when therapy came out like, what, 50, 100 years ago, and they were like, oh, only the most crazy asylum people and women with hysteria would see therapists, and now everybody's got a therapist. Okay, well, things are constantly evolving, and so sometimes therapy doesn't work for people. Like therapy wasn't working for me, so I moved into a somatic practitioner avenue, and I learned these things to support the foundation, the biology, and the history of my humanness. And how, if I'm gonna be alive, hello, we're alive, I want to be as comfortable as possible. So sleeping consistently, eating consistently, morning and sunset walks. Now that I've gotten in the routine where I'm gaining back my hunger cues and I'm gaining back my sleepy nighttime cues and I'm able to sleep throughout the most of the night, I'm not always hitting my morning walks and sunset walks. There are like some days where I skip, but I would say 80 to 90% of the time. And that's a good rule, right? Like the 80-20 rule. I feel like it applies for a lot of different things, but if you can get into some of this stuff 80% of the time, I know, I'm giving it to you at the end of winter, but like maybe you're in the other part of the world and you're just about to hit winter as my winter is getting over, or you can remember this for next year, or hey, we still have 2 months left and you have been severely depressed, I'm sorry. It's temporary. And maybe try implementing some, any, all of these tips and tricks. I've implemented them, and yeah, like I said, I escaped the doom of seasonal mood disorder, seasonal depression. I'm wishing you a beautiful rest of your season, whether you are also in the same season as me and we're wrapping up winter, whether you're on the other side of the world and you're wrapping up summer. Is that how it goes? Whatever you are, may you enjoy the season that you're in and remember that is temporary. And if you have any tips or tricks, like you used to be a big seasonal mood disorder gal and now you're like, hey, I do this, this, and this, and it works for me, I would love to hear in the comments below. And if you do any of the things that I mentioned and you're like, yeah, that does work, or hey, that didn't really work for me, I would love to hear. Let's go. We're building community. One video on the internet at a time. Okay. See you in the next one. Goodbye.